The content presented is for entertainment purposes only. Some content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. You know, I really am on the side that there's definitely something to say for how the corporatized media, mainstream media, and the tyrannical leftists, our Democrats and libs, are literally have a fight against Trump, and they are doing everything they possibly can to stop this man. Hi, Jacob, J. Rhymes, with the Periodic Review. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter, so don't forget to leave us a comment in the section down below. Today's episode is sponsored by viewers like you, so thank you. If we earned your subscription today, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button, click that damn bell, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a content release. The best way to support the channel is to share this live stream with family and friends. Crush that like button. Also, you can send all your topic ideas, your articles and videos, and links to theperiodicreview@gmail.com. If you missed today's or yesterday's live stream, the Periodic Review podcast is now free on the go at spotify.com, as well as Rumble and Facebook and YouTube. All of our links are in the description down below. Welcome to the show, everybody. We really do appreciate your support. Now, I know there's some of you that have really had a hard time with the last handful of topics both myself and the TPR crew have been talking about. And I understand if you have to leave. Like, I get it. You know, if you disagree with some of the things that we've said or disagree with some of the feelings, the thoughts, the opinions that we have, commenting on these different topics, I understand and I get it, and I wish you well. I also wish that you'd come back and give us another try. I mean, I feel like we are fairly fair, but I definitely understand that we're definitely getting a bit more angsty when it comes to some of these things that have been happening. And I really wanted to talk about how it seems that there is a battle, like there's a fight against Donald Trump. And some of the things that's been really interesting, I think Glenn Beck did a top 10 things that the left and Democrats and liberals have gotten wrong against Donald Trump. I'm sure there's plenty other websites that have dictated the different things that have been said and that have come out incorrect or wrong, weeks, but mainly months later. So some of those things that I thought was really interesting was Trump's photo op that he had back in June 1st, a ways back ago. And there was a photo op. This was 2-3 years ago now. And there was an incident where the park police used flashbangs and other non-lethal crowd control munitions hours before Trump even arrived. And what was really interesting is as they've done interviews with these different individuals that were a part of these things and even like running them as far as like, ensuring the safety of the people around, they had no idea that Trump was even coming. Like, they had made decisions to go out and take care of the things that were going on at the park, before Trump had even decided to go down there and get that photo, which I thought was really interesting. Trump's mentioned theory that the coronavirus possibly escaped from the Wuhan Institute in China, and where it began in its origin, from the natural, possibly bats, versus it coming, man-made, and maybe some mistakes were made, and it started over in China, which it did. Months later, the left, CNN, mainstream media all agree that it came from the lab and it wasn't made of natural means. And there's also there's definitely some things that have definitely tried to figure out whether it was gain of function or not, meaning if the government is, funding the research over there in order to gain, personal gain. And it's been really interesting because now it's widely known as that it was the correct thing. And not only was Trump actively discredited, both online and offline, in his administration, but also anyone online spreading out on the theory in these corporatized media, social media networks. So it's been really interesting to kind of watch these things pan out, because it seems like at the beginning it's deny and lie, and then a few weeks go by, a few months go by. Oh, actually, the science has now changed, or it has now come to light. That these things are actually this way. And then they champion themselves of patting themselves on the back and saying, yes, this is all because we have done our research and we have done the science and we figured it out on our own. And I just think it's really interesting. The countless times, Trump has been taken out of context, but definitely this instance where he was taken out of context while speaking out about violent criminals of the MS-13 group, which I believe is a gang, and other undocumented immigrants who were deported for committing crimes. And his statement on that, which was calling them, basically deplorables and criminals, and I think what he quote called them animals, in which gangs and individuals who are doing violent crimes, they are animals. They're not human. They are human beings, but they're acting animalistic, I should say. And you'll have to forgive me. Some of you all know this because you've been following us, you've been listening to the podcast, you've been watching the videos. I do struggle with my words, and that's mainly because I've had 4 concussions in my life. And the most recent one that happened while I was on the job, when I was working installing security systems out and about around the Cleveland, Ohio area. I had, I believe it was 5 staples, and it was probably a gash about, that big. If I shaved my head, you could probably see the scar on the top of my head where I hit a pole coming up under it. Knocked me clean out. Before that, I had 2 skateboarding accidents when I was in my youth, both falling at a skate park and also falling out in front of my house. Pretty embarrassing. Both unconscious for a short period of time. And then a peewee football accident where I went head-to-head against another kid. We're both pretty big kids. We hit full force, completely knocked me unconscious, and I refused to play contact sports after that. So I struggle with my words sometimes. Sometimes I miscommunicate words, not purposefully, but because I can't reach to that particular word. And so it's funny because I've already been misquoted, because one of my previous videos I said reverse pronouns. I meant to say opposite, male versus female, female versus male, and I was talking about trans individuals. Yeah, I misspoke, I apologize. I'm not perfect. But if I do misspeak, it's not always because I'm just speaking nonsense. It's just because my brain doesn't always function and work the way that it's supposed to be. And there are occasions where I just can't find the words for whatever reason. So with that being said, I want to continue forward with this interesting topic that we've been talking about today. So I just think it's really interesting because going back to Donald Trump and all the allegations from Joe Biden and his administration, Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris, there's a lot of really interesting things, and it seems that there have been many, many times where these individuals have taken out times to either, misconstrue or to take out of context or just take little sound bites and go, haha, see, he's a bad man. Now, don't get me wrong. There have been times where, those are warranted. I have no love for Donald Trump. I definitely believe from a human standpoint and the way that he treats other people, sometimes he's not the nicest guy. I would definitely say there is some question when it comes to his character as he is as a human being. However, we can't overlook the facts. there are some things that he did within business, especially allowing larger businesses, especially banks, doing some shenanigans, and definitely hurting people financially, as well as fraudulent things happening under his watch, which I absolutely disagree with, and that's unfortunate. However, the things that he did with business outside of that, most businesses were flourishing. They were adding more employees. They were making more money. Our economy was booming. He definitely focused on individuals like Latin Americans, Black Americans, Asian Americans, and ensuring that some things were taken care of on some of those sides, especially releasing people from prison with nonviolent crimes, especially when it comes to cannabis use or cannabis possession, which of course I feel like everyone that has been incarcerated should be retroactively let go in the states that are currently having it legalized, both for medical and for medical. This is one of those times where my brain is just not finding the word at the moment, either for medical or recreational use. Sometimes I catch up, as well as my ADD. And it's been really interesting to kind of follow this and to kind of see all the things that are happening. And I've been trying to take things from both sides. I've been listening to CNN, reading stuff from CNN.com, things on Fox News, things from individuals like Tucker Carlson or Dan Bongino, even though I feel like sometimes they can be very polarizing, especially Dan Bongino. He can get on his little high horse, and it's pretty difficult for me when people just start calling people names instead of just saying, hey, here's the facts, here's the thoughts on one left, here's the thoughts on the right, what are your thoughts? Like, I just feel like sometimes it gets very polarizing and very a little forthcoming with his words, but I digress. Now, with that being said, we kind of live in a time now where nobody is being I shouldn't say nobody. It seems that there's a lot of cherry picking as far as like who the laws are being applied to when it comes to criminals, when it comes to saying flat out lies, not only in video but in audio form, or in social media. Like there's it seems like we're in the age of it's not my problem and I can do what I want and there's no repercussions. And this is, and it bugs me, especially not only, when Donald Trump says, well, the previous administration, or when Joe Biden's like, well, the previous administration, it's like, where does the buck stop? Who's going to take responsibility for this? Like, when I was a manager and I was taking care of, anywhere between 6 and 25 like technicians at a time, where did the buck stop? When something went awry? Well, it definitely stopped at my doorstep. It stopped at my feet, and I had to deal with it. And so anybody that did something wrong or did an incorrect out of policy, or they did something against the law, or they did something that was out of the scope of work, all that fell upon me. Like, I didn't go, oh, well, it's my regional's fault. It's my regional manager's fault. No, and I always take that and be like, you know what? That individual did it incorrectly, and that's because I did not make it, apparent that they were supposed to do certain things. I will take some time out. I will re-educate. I will make sure that they don't do it again. And I definitely ensure that is portrayed in a way where people go, oh, well, shit, I made a mistake. And it's like, hey, okay. And we can all accept that, and part of that's on me for not either teaching you properly or making sure that you understand what you need to do. And so it's just really funny. Oh, it's Putin's fault. It's like, no, it's you and your administration's fault. That's where the buck stops. And I feel like that's something that's real important. So where do we go from here? Where do we go from from all this that's been going on, especially, I mean, it's not only on the left. There's definitely a lot going on the right, or I'm just like, that's a little conflated, or that's a little over the top, or that's not 100% correct. You have a little bit of truth there. So it's always important to look at both sides. But it's kind of difficult, especially when, we got mainstream media right now, quote unquote, that's, free on the TV, that anybody can sit down and watch the news. And it's so very heavily left-sided rather than right. It's not very subjective news. Excuse me. It's not subjective news. It's more objective. And are these people on my side? And does this news article portray what I want it to portray as according to my team, or with my values or my ideologies? And it's just like people like I feel like the term right and wrong has gotten very, very blurred. I would really like for the individuals who own these different news companies to start looking at individuals and seeing where not only their loyalties lie, but if they're willing to leave their ideologies, their political alignings, their religious alignings, their personal beliefs about one subject or another, and to portray and to actually give the news from an objective perspective, and more or less saying, hey, these are the facts. These are the things that we've learned. These are the things we've observed. We kind of have a feeling of what this could be, but we leave it to you, the viewer, to decide one way or the other of how you want to proceed with this information. And I feel like this happened somewhere between the 90s and 2000s, somewhere around just as the internet was coming out, just as social media was coming out. I feel like somewhere around there, people started to go, oh, this is a really big tool for me to continue to promote my team, to promote my ideologies and thoughts and feelings and opinions. So, let's build this up so I can do that. And I get it. Like, I really do. And I think from the other side's standpoint, I'm sure they feel like, well, we're trying to do a good thing here. We're trying to help humanity. We're trying to do what's right. I'm sure that there's individuals that feel that way. But I also know that there's individuals that are doing it for nefarious reasons. So I can't always find who is or is not doing things that are nefarious, but it's really interesting to watch how things play out. Great example, the lies from Anthony Fauci. Really great examples there where, you don't need to worry about it. Masks aren't really that big of a deal. And then later coming out as the mandates and the lockdowns the first time started coming out, now it's like, nope, everybody needs to wear a mask in one shape or form or another, and they all help to keep you from getting it and spreading it. And if you get the poke, it also prevents you from not only getting it, from spreading it. And then months down the road, when we have more information come out on these things, wasn't always the case. So, yeah, I would love to see more subjective platforms giving subjective views on the news rather than championing the right or the left. And it's kind of sucks that we're in this day and age now where it's very easy for us to separate ourselves and to start our own applications, to start our own social media networks and stuff. And now there's like the left networks and the right networks. And it's just like, can't we just have the news just be the news? And can it be objective? And if not, maybe we need to start getting different people in there. But I digress. So if you got this far in the video, again, we really do appreciate all of your support. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click that damn bell, and turn on your notifications, as well as leaving us a comment of what you think on these different things. Do you feel like the corporate media and the tyrannical left, as I like to say right now, do you feel like there's a war against Trump, and you feel like they're being subjective in their ways and attacking him outright now? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So here's something that's been really interesting, and it's being called unprecedented, presidented. I don't even know if I'm even saying that word right. Unprecedented. Having no previous example, having no precedent or example, like a case, not having authority or prior example. And I believe that people are saying it's unprecedented because there hasn't been a president that has had not only this much like controversy and outright attacks from from all angles, it seems, and nothing has seemed to stick over the past 6 years. So it's going to be interesting if this will stick, because there hasn't been a president that has been attacked in this way, where a warrant has been served, and now this resort home that Trump has out in Miami, Mar-a-Lago Resort, has now been raided already. I believe it happened on either Sunday or Monday, and they are looking for documents to see if Trump has mishandled some classified documents when he left office. And it's going to be really interesting to see if this actually occurs, if they actually make it stick. Now, this is coming from a person where Donald Trump has had like over 4,000 like not litigations, but like suings against him. He's had a lot of people try to sue him. And some of the things he's, won, probably majority of them, and he's settled some out of court, which of course doesn't, announce or denounce any kind of like guilt. But it's going to be really interesting. And so I've been reading some of these articles, both from CNN and Fox. I'm trying to get both sides and kind of hear see what's going on. But it's been very interesting. So I'm quoting from this site. I don't remember which one it is. It wasn't on Fox. It was a political site. What was it called? I think this is from CNN. So Trump announced that the FBI had raided his resort on Monday, saying the facility was under siege. Nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before. After working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate, Trump said. I can't see that word right now. It is prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponization of the justice system, and an attack by radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024, especially based on recent polls, and who will likewise do anything to stop Republicans and conservatives in the upcoming midterm elections. Now, I think that's really interesting because apparently from the CNN article that I read, and I've read a couple, what's strikingly interesting is how fishy this is, because there have been a lot of allegations and open attacks against Trump, and I haven't seen too many of them become founded, which has been very interesting. And this could be another ploy to say, hey, look, Trump is bad, red orange man bad. And it quotes here, such an assault could only take place in broken third world countries. Sadly, America has now become one of those countries, corrupt at a level not seen before, Trump said, alleging that the FBI agents broke into his safe. So the first thing is, the first couple of things is that mainstream media has been openly attacking Trump, and it's been taken over by the left side, mainly. I think the numbers right now are between 90 and 95% of news reporting right now, the free news, like, just get on your regular TV, are now all left-leaning or liberal, and are openly attacking Trump, as well as, other Republicans. We have Biden and his administration openly attacking Trump, both, on and off TV, as well as in social media. And they're really doing everything to find anything against Trump and to make him look bad. And I get it. Like, he's not the most likable guy. Like, I really do understand. As a human being, I mean, there's definitely something to say about his moral character, for sure. Again, but objectively, you can't lie all of the wonderful things that he did while he was in his presidency versus the bad things that he did, which was very little. And what is strange about that raid, which occurred here, I think Sunday or Monday, is it's about 92 days out from the midterms officially, which would be just coming in under the limit of the standing 90-day rule not to execute politically sensitive moves within 90 days of any election, which I think is highly suspect. That it just barely came in just before that time hit, especially while we're in the process of the midterms right now. It's highly sus, I would say. Now, I'm not saying that this is the smoking gun. Like even when it comes to 2,000 Mules, everybody's saying, "Oh, look, this is 100% truth, 100%, of evidence that says that, the Democrats have stolen the election and this is how they did it." Well, I watched the documentary, of course. My wife and I are very interested in these kinds of things. And I definitely would say that there was some kind of reaching, stuff. And I definitely wouldn't say that it's the smoking gun. However, with the data that was presented, especially with the data tracking when it came to cell phones, and see that they would come and go from these different places and hit multiple places, as well as go to these particular cell phones went to certain places and then came back. So it seemed objectively, it seemed that people were picking up stuff and dropping stuff off. Excuse me. I would definitely say that it was definitely enough evidence to take a second look. However, and this is definitely blown up, and it's definitely causing the right to become more emboldened. It's caused the right to want to speak out even more aggressively. And we can see that from Mr. Steven Crowder's and Dan Bongino's Twitter messages. It's not looking good as far as trying to bring people together, trying to be more bipartisan, trying to be able to reach over the aisle and stuff like that. It seems like people are becoming even more divided now, because it's seemingly on the surface. Now, I haven't done all of my homework to definitely say that yes, the left is weaponizing everything, but the topical stuff, not the stuff that's below the surface and the large iceberg on the bottom, like the sinking of the Titanic, but definitely the top level stuff definitely would cause someone to pause and to go, I really wonder what's going on here. I really wonder if these individuals have figured stuff out in a way to weaponize mainstream media, social media, all these tech giants, and have been able to cultivate a culture, or I would even say a religion, to go after the other side and to destroy everything that our country stands for. And that's what I'm worried about. I would love to hear your thoughts. I would really love to hear your thoughts, because I really hope that this raid on President Trump's home, it's just another episode of political theater to make the Orange Man look bad. I really do hope that this is something that these allegations will come out and be like, oh yeah, actually he did everything fine. All that's, and he's still going to run whether they do have something that will stick out of this or not. I would assume. I believe that there's better candidates on the right, in my opinion. But I would venture to say that if things go in the way that he wants it to go, I mean, he's definitely going to run again. Whether I vote for him or not, I mean, I'm definitely not going to vote for Biden, even though he did do two good things in his administration. Those two good things is that they're finishing some of the wall in the southern part, some of the southern parts in Arizona. Kudos on you guys. They announced that very quietly, and have denounced that they're finishing the wall, which is very interesting. And the other thing is that they were able to make a quick downturn as far as like gas prices, because they opened up our coffers. They opened up the not our coffers. See, I'm just pulling different words that don't make sense. They pulled our reserves and opened some of that up to reduce some of the prices. Now, those two things are very small, and they're very, very small band-aids to try to stop the the literal gushing of everything that's going wrong with Biden and his administration. And I'm really sad at that. Like, I really wish, we didn't have these radicalized individuals who are literally destroying everything that we've built, that the government has built, and we need to open things up. We need to get people back to work. We need to get businesses, booming again. We need individuals to be making enough money to take care of themselves and their loved ones. We need to reduce inflation. We need to do all these things to ensure that the American way is preserved. And that's why, I consider myself a moderate conservative, because I do have some different views, especially when it comes to same-sex marriage and stuff like that. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful day. From my family to yours, good night. Hello everyone, Jay Rhymes with the Periodic Review. Today's video is sponsored by viewers like you, so thank you. Hopefully we've earned your subscription today, so don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit that damn bell to turn on your notifications so you don't miss a content release. Check out the video links at the end of every video to view our previous content, as well as visit the description section for more links to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and from my family to yours, good night.